So I'm back with another episode of my Desert Island Discs. In fact, this is episode 13, so it might be unlucky for some. Is this an unlucky shelf? Will I pick an unlucky film? Let's find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to episode 13 of Desert Island Discs, where I take one of my shelves in the room of my collection. We go through, we take a look at every film on that shelf, and then ultimately I whittle it down and I pick that one film from that shelf of collection that overall I would pick over all the others. That disc that I would take with me if I was sat on a desert island alone and I knew that was going to happen. I had to take a film with me. What am I going to pick? So as I'm doing this, I want you to think about maybe what film you would pick. Let me know in the comments down below. And also see if you can guess as we go along what film I would likely pick. Now, a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, in my last episode, we'd done a steelbook shelf, which is down there as I'm pointing. But today we're going to go back down here and work our way down there. We've done all this bit. I'm sort of halfway down the bookcase there, but not the bookcase here. And then we're going to spin around to that bookcase there. But every now and then I will throw in a different shelf, a steelbook shelf or something like that, and we're going to work our way through the entire collection, every film, everything that I've got in this room, and do that with it. So it's an interesting way, a fun way of looking through the collection and at what I have. Now I will say that this shelf here is kind of alphabetical. There's a lot of alphabetized stuff in there, but there's some stuff that I've just thrown on there because I had a gap. I can't keep moving stuff along to fit in. It bugs me, that does. Also, the collection is kind of alphabetized, and then not, because I have my 4K somewhere different. I have my steelbook somewhere different. I have superhero stuff somewhere different because I'm a big superhero fan. I have special collector's editions along the top, at the back, and down there over there. So these are at the moment are just kind of standard releases, the type that you can go into a CEX and probably pick up rather cheap, those sort of films. But enough rattling on, because I am rattling on. Let's get ourselves down into position down there, because yeah, I'll need to sit down lower and I will adjust the camera and bring it over there and that sort of thing. So let's do it. Okay, so I am sat. I'm relatively comfortable. I'm not particularly comfortable. I'm actually sat on a little step ladder. And we're going to do this shelf here. This here. Now, there is because the top shelf isn't completely filled, I will do the whole lot. So essentially you're getting a shelf and a half. Because if this was filled, this top one, I'd have done that as one shelf of its own, and the bottom bit as a shelf of its own. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything here, everything. So let's begin. Let's get off of the shelf what I have on it. Okay, so first off I have a little Ghostbusters ghost trap, and this works in conjunction with your mobile phone, I think, and with the Ghostbusters car somehow. I could never get it working, the ghost trap bit. You have something on your phone, it projects up into it, and it looks like there's a ghost trapped in that. I don't know. Probably throw that away. So what do we have on this shelf, collectible wise? So first up, I have an Indominus Rex statue. This came with a release of Jurassic Park: The Lost World. No, it didn't. Jurassic World. It came with. What am I saying? The Lost World. And you also had a T-Rex as well. So I have the T-Rex and that one there. Very nice. Very good. I go down there for the moment. And then here we have a sonic screwdriver. Now this is Matt Smith's sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who. Interesting story about this. Now this is one of those ones that can operate the TV. It's a remote control. Although it's really awkward to learn all the I gave up on it. It's just a nice collectible to have. I say it's a nice collectible to have. It was adorned downstairs in my cabinet until someone looked at it questionably and asked me what it was, and said it looked much akin to a sex toy. They wondered if it was a female sex toy. A vibrator. At which point I thought, you're seeing something completely different to what I see there, so I'm going to move that and move it upstairs out of the way. And that's exactly what I've done, for that very reason. So let's take a look at what we have on this shelf. I'm going to start at this end first. I'll start at this end. So, let's go. What's this? Oh, I have a mouse mat there. Look, Punisher mouse mat. Okay, so what do we have on this shelf? So, we have Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding in Last Christmas. I quite enjoyed this film. I thought it was quite sad, actually. I do enjoy it. It's a film that me and the missus do watch at Christmas, every Christmas. And obviously, a lot of it's filmed up in London, near where I live here. And I've been to a lot of the filming locations, Covent Garden, where the shop was, the alleyway, the finished alleyway, which isn't actually the finished alleyway in London, but we've been there. And the garden that she goes to, where the bench is and that sort of a thing. It's near the Forbidden Planet up in London. I did take Chris and Matt to those locations when I last met them in London, when we went to see Indiana Jones at the IMAX and I fell asleep. Yes, we went to see them filming locations for that film. Then we have here The Long Kiss Goodnight. Sam Jackson and Gina Davis. And boy, I've not watched this film in a long time, and maybe it's about time I gave it a rewatch. Seriously. And then we have here a Spanish release, and it's still sealed, and it stars Kelly LeBrock and Gene Wilder in Lady in Red. The only way I could get hold of it is by importing it from another region. Nick Cage in Lord of War. As you can see, it was a CEX purchase. I do like Nick Cage. I think he's a great actor. Monty Python's The Life of Brian. Always look on the bright side of life. Still got the DVD floating around in there as well. Yeah, very good. Very good. Now I think I've got a couple of versions of this kicking around. I think there's another one somewhere, so we might come across it. I don't know. Yes, I can grab it now. It's a one for the double pile, and that's The Legend of Tarzan. Yeah, I don't know. I've got that one there, and I'm sure I gave Matt a copy of this as well, but I've got the lenticular one there, because I bought it cheap again because of the lenticular, and it's still sealed as well, look. And I preferred that as the cover. So why I don't know, another one for the double pile, shall we say. Yeah, so what else do we have? Let's get into this shelf properly. Let's have a look at what comes my way. Okay, so here we have Pattinson and William Dafoe in The Lighthouse. Decent film. Not one to rewatch though. Vin Diesel, The Last Witch Hunter. Can't really remember it. Stallone in Lock Up. Decent. Oops. Okay, this one here was a recent purchase from CEX. Blind Buy. Nude Nuns with Big Guns. Why not? Why not? I've not watched it yet. I I'll put that one aside because it's The Terror. It's a TV show, so we're not including that. And then we have Heavy Metal, the animated film, which I still need to get the stickers. I'm so bad at getting these stickers off. Okay, well that one's coming off pretty well. Okay, so yes, Heavy Metal. And then we have Made in Manhattan, which I haven't seen for years. I picked it up for a £5. Thought the missus would like it. I don't mind Jennifer Lopez in film. Can't really get much of this, all of this sticker off. There's an older sticker below. I don't remember this film at all. I remember taking the mickey out of it. I remember criticising it heavily. I think it's because my first wife, when we watched it together, I was in one of the moods where I just like slagged the film off, something rotten. But did I really feel that about it? I don't know. And then we have Braven. I've not watched this. Picked it up for £2. Obviously, Jason Momoa. He's not bad. And it stars Stephen Lang as well. And Garrett Dillahunt. Garrett Dillahunt is in it. I forgot that until I read the back. Like I said, I've not seen the film, but Garrett Dillahunt, more recently, he's been in Fear the Walking Dead. They killed him off very, very well, sooner than what I would have liked. He was the sort of cowboy with the 2 guns, that sort of guy. He was the Terminator in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the main Terminator. And I think he's quite good. When I see him in stuff, I'm like, I want to see more of you. So I should leave that one out to watch. And then we have Wesley Snipes in Passenger 57, which has been a recent purchase for me because, again, I haven't seen it in a long time. So fantastic. The Last Duel, Matt Damon and Adam Driver. Ben Affleck, Jodie Comer, so good cast in that. Directed by Ridley Scott, who he's pretty much lost it as a filmmaker now. He ain't that good anymore. Then we have The Kingdom, Jamie Foxx and Elektra herself, Jennifer Garner. Stickers won't come off of that one. And Daniel Day-Lewis in The Last of the Mohicans, which is a film that I've not seen in donkey's years. This is the director's definitive cut. I don't know what the difference is between that and the standard release. To be honest, I probably couldn't tell the difference between them anyway. I wouldn't be able to watch this film and say to you, there's changes there, there's differences there, there's a scene that weren't in the other one because of the amount of time it has been. But there we go. Next up, we have the Banana Splits. The sort of horror, you know. Yeah. Just having a look at who's in it. Yeah, the Banana Splits. Obviously, that's not going to be a contender for the film that I pick. I'll let you know that one now. So next up is The Breakfast Club. And I know people love this film. I never saw it when I was younger. I first watched it a couple of years ago. I don't think it's all that. I don't think it's one of John Hughes' best. I prefer Ferris Bueller. And then here we have... Oh, look, I can get that off as a sticker. Let me get this sticker off before I show you, because it has got a lenticular. Oh, just left sticky stuff on it. Should have left it on, but there we go. And it is Kull. Kull the Conqueror with Kevin Sorbo. Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. And who's that with him? Tia Carrere. Looks nothing like Tia Carrere. She went on to play Relic Hunter, which was like the Tomb Raider-esque TV series. That was from Germany, by the way, if you're wondering. Okay, then we have Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. And I know they made several sequels to this. I still have my old DVDs in there. Like straight to video sequels with someone else, that sort of thing. But after this film, I thought, do you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Owen Wilson do a bit more action. It never came to pass, but I know he's done action comedies, but a straight action film like this, he was pretty good in it. He was pretty damn good in it. Okay, so what do we have here? So now we have, I'll do this as the trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I do have 4Ks as well. These are the extended editions. They kind of speak for themselves, don't they? I don't really need to say anything about them. They speak for themselves. And then we have the Hobbit trilogy. And just as the Lord of the Rings trilogy speaks for themselves, if you're bad-mouthing, speaking about yourself, then that's exactly what these films are doing. They're not particularly good. Nowhere near as stretched out, too long. I've tried rewatching, because I've got the 4K versions of these as well, the Steelbook set, and I put them on and I thought, I'm going to really give this a go again. I'm going to give it a try, and I switched it off. I switched them off. That was the first one. I switched the first one off. But there we go. What can you do? So what else do we have on this shelf? Let's have a gander. So we have the original King Kong. 1938 was this, or something like that? Can't remember the year. $1938 was a re-release year. Yeah, King Kong, classic film. Then we have Kon-Tiki. Breathtaking dramatization of Thor Heyerdahl's legendary journey. A dangerous adventure, 6 men sail from Peru to Polynesia on a fragile balsa wood raft, risking their lives for an idea that could change history. Led by Thor, a handsome captain who can't swim, the crew have no modern equipment and only a parrot for company. Battling tidal waves, sharks and demons of the deep. It is 6 men against nature as the Kon-Tiki strives to reach land. I've not watched it. It was a £5 pickup. It looked intriguing, you know, and I really need to put it in the into the watch pile. Have you seen this? How many people have seen this? Is it any good? Let me know. Alan Kermit, if you're watching this, is this a film that you've seen? I would go straight to you, because I imagine that if anyone's seen this film, you would have seen this film. And I know you watch these videos. So, yes, I don't know. So I am just peeling the sticker off here. I'm sort of engrossed in that at the minute. That sticker's off. So Kon-Tiki, I don't know. Here we go. What's up next? This was a £2 pickup. I don't know why. Kickboxer Retaliation. From Germany now. K9. This is the trilogy. All 3 films squeezed onto one disc. First one's good. Came out at the same time, around the same time as Turner and Hooch. Then we have The King's Speech. Very good film. Can't afford this film. Colin Firth, Geoffrey Rush. Fantastic performances from both within. And then we have, and I have a 4K of this as well, we have the other King Kong, the Peter Jackson's King Kong film. Putting that with the other King Kong there. And then we have here, we have Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Woody Harrelson, in the movie Kate. Yeah. One of those sort of forgettable, you know, films that came about. Then we have, and I think this film gets a lot of criticism, but it's pretty good, and I enjoyed it. Knowing, I thought it was great. I remember my cinema trip with it. I took my son. He was too young. I snuck him in. What do we have next? I have 4K of this, and I picked up the 4K very cheap. And it is Life of Pi. This is the 3D version. Matt, do you have this on 3D? I'm assuming you do. I know you like your 3Ds, but if you don't, let me know. What do we have next? We have Tom Cruise in Cameron Diaz in Night and Day. I'll be honest, I cannot remember it for love nor money. Oh, and then we can't include this, but it is a live, showing my likes here, Kylie Minogue live. I think she's very attractive. I do have a big poster of Kylie Minogue on the back of the door. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? Yeah, you do. Yes, that one there. That's the back of the door. That was from when she, what's that lingerie line that she was, forget the name of the lingerie line that she was involved with. But she'd done a calendar that year, and that was one of the posters, one of the images on that calendar. It was a great calendar. I've still got it, actually. Yes, I've still got it. Anyway, moving on. I do like Kylie Minogue. I think she's gorgeous. And she's always single. She just ain't met me yet. Don't tell the wife that. Anyway. Then we have Kindergarten Cop. And I love this film. I think it's really good. I do like Kindergarten Cop. It's a very, very good film. Then we have Kindergarten Cop 2. With Dolph Lundgren stepping into the sort of role. And it's essentially a remake more than anything else. It's by numbers, same story, same sort of thing. What do we have here now? We have... Oh, I need to put these in some sort of order. I say that because of actors. Okay, here we have LA Confidential. Not watched this for a long time. Kim Basinger. Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kevin Spacey and Danny DeVito. Kevin Spacey. Would you watch this because of the stuff surrounding Kevin Spacey or not? Would you reject all Kevin Spacey stuff now? Don't really bother me. I mean, it bothers me what he's accused of and all that sort of stuff. I say accused of. But I'm not going to not watch his films. He's still a very good actor. And then we have one of the best crocodile movies ever made. Lake Placid. Very good film. Tongue-in-cheek. Some great performances by Brendan Gleeson and Bill Pullman in this. It's a lot of fun. Very, very fun film. Will Ferrell in Land of the Lost. I enjoyed this. I thought it was funny. I thought it was amusing. I thought it was stupid. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. What can I say? And then we have Brucey in The Last Boy Scout. Tony Scott film. Written by Shane Black, I believe. Bruce Willis again. The Last Man Standing. German edition. No reversible sleeve on that one. And then we have again, well not again, we have Arnie in Last Action Hero, and I have a 4K version of this. A film very much ahead of its time. It flopped when it came out. I think it went up against Jurassic Park pretty much. And it flopped, and audiences weren't ready for its satirical take, its look at the modern film industry and its satire towards it and all that sort of stuff, and you know, yeah, audiences didn't take to it. Then we have The Last Stand, another Arnie film. This is the film I believe that he came back and done when he stopped being governor of California. Came back and this is the first film he done. Correct me if I am wrong there, but I believe it to be. Then we have The Last Starfighter, and this is one of my dad's favourites. My father loves this film, and it is a good film. It's a very good film. Law-abiding citizen. Gerard Butler, Jamie Foxx. Decent enough. Legion with Paul Bettany, and I quite enjoyed this. Terminator-esque. It's very much a riff on Terminator. It is the same story as Terminator, pretty much. This angel has to come down and protect this woman who's going to give birth to the son of some sort of future, I don't know, saviour of the future or something, and a second coming sort of thing, I don't know. But I remember having a lot of fun with it, and I believe there was a TV series done. I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it was Legion. It was called something else, but it was based on that. Oh, okay, and here we have Leon. Now, I know this film is adored by many, many people. They love this film. They love this film. But I am so creeped out by the scenes between Natalie Portman and Jean Reno when she's expressing her love to him and essentially coming on to him as a young girl. It just weirds me out. And I sit there and I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable watching it with anyone who hasn't seen it. This includes the theatrical and director's cut. I don't hold it in as high a regard as other people do, but it's a decent film. And here we have Les Miserables, the musical phenomenon. I have seen the stage show maybe 4 or 5 times from about the age of 15 up to now. First time I went with school to see it, and I was way too young to understand it, in the sense that it's very difficult to follow story in song unless you know the songs, unless you get to know the songs, and then you understand what the songs are telling you. And that's what happened with me on the first occasion that I saw this film. Not saw the film, sorry, saw the stage show. So when the film came, I was aware of the music, I was aware of what's being conveyed, what story, what was being conveyed in the music, and it made it a better watch for me. But if you're going into this film watching it and you've never seen it, or you don't know the music within, it can be a very difficult watch, like with any sort of musical. I remember taking my daughter to see the stage show of Wicked, and I hated it because it's so difficult to try and keep up with what's being conveyed through music, through song, when it's important information being given over about characters, their feelings, and what's going on, and this sort of thing. So anyway, but I like it. I like the film a lot. I like the film a lot. Then we have Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. Not seen it for a long time. Jim Carrey, Liar, Liar. Decent comedy. Then we have Kristen Bell in The Lifeguard. I saw it once, can't really remember it. Then we have Limitless with Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro. Decent film, decent concept, good concept. Let me come back to that, because I'm just going to bend down here for a minute. Because just here... Okay, so, like I said, Limitless. So, have you seen this film? You probably have. A lot of people have. It's the TV series. The TV series that followed on from this. And I much prefer the TV series. I like the guy in it. He was really good. It stars What's-Her-Face, who was in Dexter. Bradley Cooper does pop up as the character that he played in the film, so it is like a continuation, but with a different person taking this pill. It's a good TV series. It only lasted the one season. I think this is quite hard to get hold of, actually. TV series are the sort of thing that go out of print and then don't get another print in, that sort of thing. But if you haven't seen it, it's very good, very good. Then we have Logan Lucky. Who's in this? Obviously Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Seth MacFarlane, Hilary Swank and Daniel Craig. I like Daniel Craig's performance in this. I like Channing Tatum. I like Adam Driver. I've warmed to Adam Driver as an actor now. And then we have Luc Besson's Lockout. From the producer of Taken, Luc Besson presents. So he didn't direct it. No, he's just a producer on it. Starring Guy Pearce and Maggie Gray. And there was a lot of court case revolving around this film, in that it's essentially a rip-off of, a complete rip-off of Escape from New York. You can't not see it in the film. How they may have thought they'd get away with that, I do not know. Honestly, I do not know. So let's carry on. Okay, next up we have The Lone Ranger. Another film that gets a lot of hate, but I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with this film. Thought it was very good. I think I got a steelbook for it down there. Picked it up very cheap. Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. Again, film that I enjoyed. Looper. Not the only version of Looper that I've got. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, Rian Johnson film. And we have Lost in Space, the movie. And I enjoyed it. What it was. It's got some wonderful special effects in it. It's also got some hideous special effects in it. Even at the time, they were hideous. Loads of different production companies worked on it. Worked on the special effects. Different production houses done different elements of the effects. So the monkey looked atrocious. And the big monster of Dr. Smith at the end looked atrocious. I've watched it with the voiceover track, the commentary, and the good thing about the commentary on this is it very much goes into what the sequel would have been, what the sequel story would have been. The fact that we actually leave these characters flung in the future at the end, and you don't really realise from the narrative of the film that that's what's happened to them. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched it, but I remember the audio commentary being something worthwhile on it. And then we're not going to include these, but we have Lost in Space Season 1, the TV series from Netflix. Now, this was the only season that was given a physical media release. The series lasted 3 seasons. So I had to bootleg the other 2 seasons. So, yes, Season 2 there. Season 3 there. That's the only way I could get them to be on physical media. I had to get them put onto a disc for me. The only one disc, that doesn't bother me. Bothers me more that they were never really given a release. And this is what I hate. This is why I've got no problem with bootlegging. Because, you know, I watch this on Netflix. I then go out and buy your product. And then you don't want to give me any more of them. Okay, fair enough. 2 seasons not given. But when you get to something like Homeland, the TV series, what was that, 7 seasons or 8 seasons or something like that? I can't remember now. But they released all bar the final season on physical media, including Blu-ray. So I've kept up with your product. I have purchased your product. And then you kick me in the teeth with the final season, tell me, well, actually, you can't have this final season now. Well, no, I can, because I'll go out and get it bootlegged. So, yeah, say what you will. Oh, anyway. Let's move on to a Poundland pickup, something that I've not watched. I don't know. There was when Poundland were doing all these films for £2. I'd go in, I'd say, "Oh, I haven't seen that. It's £2. I'll buy it. £2 less than a rental price back in the day for VHS rental. I'll buy it. If it's no good, it's £2. It's less than a cup of coffee." But there we go. Then we have Looney Tunes back in action. Brendan Fraser, Steve Martin. German release. I don't think we got it over here. Then we have a Luc Besson film, Lucy, with Scarlett Johansson. I remember it being okay. Then we have Let's Be Cops, which is another one I picked up in Poundland for next to nothing. Obviously Jake Johnson and who's the other guy in it? Damon Wayans Jr. They both starred together in the TV series New Girl. So I liked them in that. I liked both of them. I liked their back and forth in that. So, and I like Jake Johnson. He voices Spider-Man, Peter B. Parker in the Across the Spider-Verse films, Into the Spider-Verse. And I quite enjoy him on screen. He's quite good. Then we have, we're coming to the end now. We are coming to the end. So we have Love Actually. I forgot I had this, Last Survivors. This was a pretty good film. It was about this son and this father living in the wilderness. He led his son to believe that the world was in ruin after some sort of apocalyptic event or something. He ventures out and he meets up with Alicia Silverstone to learn that actually his father's lying to him and all this sort of a thing. And interestingly, I haven't seen Alicia Silverstone in a film for decades, and then all of a sudden, within the course of about 2 weeks, I see 2 films with her in. This one and the one where it was the shark film, which was a load of rubbish. And I remember reviewing that and criticising it and criticising her performance. It was an awful film. And then I watched this film and I had to applaud her performance in it. She was pretty good in it. I forgot I had that. Then we have License to Wed. The late great Robin Williams. Come on, he's fantastic. John Krasinski, I really like. The Office, I love The Office, the American Office. It's one of my favourite sitcoms. I love the British one as well, but the American one, there's no, I can't compare the two in the sense that they're 2 different beasts. The American one went off and started doing its own thing as it from about season 2 onwards, and I love them both. I really do love the American one. I love John Krasinski. I think he's fantastic in The Office. As Jack Ryan, he's fantastic. Yeah, so I will watch anything with him in. And then we have Peter Weller in Leviathan. The underwater. I like films set underwater. Yeah. I had fun with this film. Long shot. I didn't think this was bad. Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen. I can't really remember too much about it, but I remember enjoying it immensely. Andy Serkis is in it, and Bob Odenkirk is in it. Nobody. Saul Goodman. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. And then what do we have here? We have Lady Macbeth. Yep. Didn't mind that. Twist in it. And then, last but not least, Nicolas Cage in Left Behind. Left behind in my memory as well. I cannot remember this film, Love Nor Money. Yeah. So there we go. There's everything on those shelves. That's everything looked at, everything gone through. What would you pick? What film would you pick? What film do you think I would pick? Because I'm going to be back in a minute with my pick of film on this shelf if I was to take one with me on a desert island. Let me know your comments down below and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I've put everything back on the shelves. Everything's back to where it was. I've had a little look through again to see what was there. And I feel like I'm sort of letting myself down in this video. I feel like that it's such an obvious choice, such an easy choice. But I've got to give it to The Fellowship of the Ring, first Lord of the Rings film. What can I say? It's a great film. Interestingly, it's not a film I was interested in when it came out. It took me about 3 weeks to go cinema to see it. And what happened was I was up in London, central London. I used to go up there on a weekly basis around the comic shops. And I was on my own. I had time to kill. Day off work, wife at work. I thought to myself, let's go and see a film. Let's go into the Odeon and see Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Now, back then, the prices in the cinemas up there were nowhere near what they are now. So I would go in just spur of the moment, on a whim, I'd go in and see a film. I wouldn't do that now because they're ridiculous prices up there. But anyway, it's like an event going out up there now to the cinema. Do you know what I mean? I just go to my standard views. But anyway, so Lord of the Rings, it'd been out for about 3 weeks. I thought to myself, let's go and see what all the fuss is about. Because I'm quite funny when it comes to fantasy films of this kind of ilk. Things like Conan and that I enjoy, but then things like Harry Potter, Willow, I'm not a big fan of Willow. And this kind of treads into that sort of a territory of Willow in my mind, or it did at least. And given the fact that there's wizards in this thing and goblins and all this sort of nonsense, I was like, this ain't for me. I don't, Harry Potter's not something I like. I don't really like wizards in stuff. I don't know why I don't gravitate towards the idea of wizards or witches. So I went in and I saw this film and expectation was low, and then I was blown away. I was blown away by it. I think the draw for the film for me more than anything was Sean Bean being in it. I like Sean Bean. And this film really works. And I love it. Even as a one film, even as just the one film. It's the strongest of the trilogy. I think the second one is the weakest. That's the one where I start to falter a bit and sort of like, how much more walking can I take? Christ, even the trees are now walking. But this film here as a standalone film, I thought was fantastic. I really do. It's got a fantastic soundtrack to it as well. The musical score to this film is beautiful. It really is. Yes, I like Lord of the Rings as a trilogy. I think it's really good. I like the extended cuts. The Hobbit, as I said earlier, the Hobbits, I struggle. Hell do I struggle with them. I do have them in the collection. When I last put it on, I switched off the first Hobbit film. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't watch it. I think they were all singing in Bilbo's place. And I thought, I can't take much more of this. This is like embarrassing. Not only that, I think that what lacks for The Hobbit, for me, is that there's no human element to carry me through the film, someone that I can connect with. But in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you have Aragorn, you have Boromir, the human element. So it isn't until the second Lord of the Rings films when you get, I think it's Luke Evans is in it, if I'm not mistaken. He comes into it for a bit, and at which point for me there's a character that I can now show a bit of connection with. And because, let's be honest, I'm not like some stupid little 4-foot furry footed hobbit, and I'm not a dwarf with over-exaggerated features and and big bushy beards. Oh, I'm getting that way. But yeah, do you see what I mean? And the reliance of CGI in the Hobbit trilogy was awful, and this film, Fellowship of the Ring, and what come although they have a heavy use of CGI, they have a nice balance between what's real and what's not. Whereas the other one is happy to give you just fakeness all the way through. So, it's a great advert for the New Zealand Tourist Board as well. Can't deny that. The country looks beautiful where this film has been shot. It looks outstanding. The landscape, the topography of the land and that. It looks wonderful. So there's my choice anyway. I'm rambling on. There's my choice. So again, let me know down below in the comments what your choice of film would have been on that shelf. And if you think that I may have picked something else. Now, again, in 2 weeks' time, I will be back and I will go for the next shelf down there. I'll do the next few more of these, and then in a little while, in 3 or 4 episodes' time, I'll jump back over to a steelbook shelf, have a look at some steelbooks, and work my way through the collection. And I know these are quite long videos, so thank you for joining me on this journey. And yeah, I will see you for the next one of these in 2 weeks on a Saturday at 5 PM. Yeah, I'll see you later.